Yes, this could go very badly for me. Yes. All right, should we do it anyway? Let's do it. Hey, babe.
Yeah.
Do you want to be in a video with me? It's called Hair Mistakes That Age You Faster.
And you want to do my hair? Like, what are you saying? What?
I'm not. It's a video about hair mistakes that could be aging you faster.
So you're saying that I'm making mistakes that is aging me faster?
Not at all.
That's what you're saying?
Not at all. What I'm saying is, I'm saying that there are potentially mistakes that you could be making that are aging you faster.
Oh, so pretty much you're saying that I look old right now. Yeah, walk away, buddy. Walk away.
Yeah, there's that. I told you. Okay, so I'm still alive. That's promising, I guess. If you're new to this series, my name is Justin Hickox. I've been doing hair since 1995. That's, yes, old. So in this particular series, I actually take real humans, subscribers, that send in photos specifically for this topic, and then I walk through the photos and tell you mistakes that they're making with their hair. Yes, and today I decided it would be a brilliant idea to use my wife as a model. We see how that's working. But nonetheless, I'm still alive and she hasn't said no. So, babe, do you want to come over and hang out with us? And we can talk about it. Folks, allow me to introduce you to my wife, Deanna. Most of you probably know her already. But today, this is actually a very special episode. And one of the reasons that I wanted to use my wife specifically is I think that this series may come across as though I'm saying that all of these stylists out here are making these horrible mistakes, or that you as a viewer or as a subscriber or the people that I actually use as models in these particular episodes are making some horrible mistakes and they just don't know what they're doing and everything is trash. We're using my wife, and guess who cuts my wife's hair? This guy right here. So the mistakes that we're gonna be talking about today could rest on her shoulders. Not mine. Her number one mistake, before we even dive into the mistakes, was marrying a hairdresser. Everyone thinks that's going to be so great, but reality, how often do you get your hair cut?
I've been asking for at least the past 2 to 3 months.
There you go. And in this video, I actually get to do her hair instead of showing you a Photoshopped version of what this different style or what these mistakes might look once we correct them. I actually just get to cut her hair and style her hair and show you exactly what they would look like. So before we do that, let's dive into the mistakes. Now, the very first mistake that we're seeing with her hair does rest a little bit on my shoulders, to be honest. And that is if you look at the ends, actually just going so long or not paying attention to what's going on with your ends. How often do you get your hair cut?
I've been asking for at least the past 2 to 3 months.
There you go. So yes, simply not getting your hair trimmed, that by itself is a mistake. Oh, and real quickly, I'm editing this video right now, and as I'm editing, I realize that I can already tell the question that's going to come from this, and so I want to make it very clear. I don't personally believe there is a very specific time that you need to get your hair trimmed. I don't think that you need to go every 6 weeks to make your hair grow. That's never been something that I've subscribed to, and I don't want to come across like that in this particular video. Of course, if you're trying to keep your hair within a specific haircut, right, or a shape, there might be more of a timeline, 6 to 8 weeks, because you're trying to keep it in that style. But if you're just trying to get your hair longer or grow it out, just pay attention to the ends. When the ends look as though they need it, when the ends are getting split, when you don't see the extra growth, when they don't look healthy, that's the time that you should get them trimmed and just get the very ends trimmed off. So yes, there's that. Now, back to editing. Mistake number 2, actually, wow, I'm hosed. Piggybacks on that a little bit, and that is the length, which is, again, this is a little bit of my fault. But if you look at the length on her hair right now, the length is long enough that with her specific hair texture, that length has a tendency to not allow those layers to be short enough to actually get the volume where we want to get the volume. They still have to be long individual layers just to balance with the overall length, and therefore those hairs, even though they are shorter, many times that still is going to be left heavier, and they're just not going to get the volume that they're going to want. Now, this is a little different in the very front, and I haven't talked about this in other videos, but the layers in the front are the only layers that really kind of aren't dictated by the length. So one way that we could have addressed this would have been simply to layer even the front more at this length, and that alone can help lighten the hair up to get more volume where we would want it, up and through here to accentuate more of her amazing cheek structure and her beautiful eyes and her incredible jaw structure.
Wow, lean it on thick, babe.
Am I winning? I don't know. Mistake number 3, if we turn her around here, as it gets towards the bottom, because of that length again, this length is actually starting to thin out at the bottom, and that is not going to allow for any sort of internal layering that's going to be balanced. Meaning that if I go through and layer this a bunch more, I'm gonna be taking hair away from down here, and this will even look thinner. Therefore, that thinness will have a tendency to look more damaged just because it's thinner at the bottom. So she's gonna look like she has a lot of hair up here and it's nice and thick and full, and then all of a sudden we get down to here and it's just thinner and thinner and thinner, and it'll make those ends look more damaged or more rough. So what I would recommend is that we bring that length up to where it's a little bit stronger, so we then can take those layers a little bit shorter and actually give the hair a lot more movement and texture so that, again, she can get volume in the right areas. She sits at a chair a lot. So this, if you notice, if we turn to the side here, that is where her back rounds, right? And then it dips in right here. Right here, this is also where her chair hits. There's constant friction right here all the time, and that is also breaking away some of those ends and causing a little bit more damage, which could also be lending to the fact that it's getting a little bit thinner down there. So that's a whole another mistake. Now, the last mistake that we've got going on with this, and this is actually, I wouldn't call this necessarily a mistake that she's making, but for this particular shape, because these front layers are long, because it's been grown out, because its length is long, and because there's not a lot of internal layers, all of those things coupled with the potential mistake of actually drying it straight like this and not giving it any bend, that also is a bit of a mistake because it doesn't allow for any sort of shape in the hair. So if you look at her straight on, what you'll see is your eye is gonna do this down her shape. There's nothing to really lift your eye up and create more definition on her cheekbones or on her face structure. It doesn't add to anything that's amazing about her face. Did I win with that one?
Wow, we need to do more of these videos so I can get complimented more. I like it. I like it. Keep going.
Alrighty. So what we're gonna do now is I'm actually going to address these specific concerns so that you can see exactly what I would do. And I'm literally gonna cut her hair and then we're gonna style it. And don't worry, even though this is a bit of an odd video for this whole series, I'm still gonna throw in a curveball. Yep. So be waiting for that. That's at the end of the video. Okay, so now we have her dry. And so if you look at her hair now, even though we've literally done nothing to it, she blow dried it and just brushed it out. There's no round brushing to this. There's no product in it. There's no flat iron. There's nothing, right? We wanted to show you the exact same way that she had it styled prior to us cutting it. Now, if you notice though, just by lightening this up a little bit, she's already still getting a little bit more lift in the front. She's getting a little bit more movement overall, and it's helping to accentuate more of her cheek structure and not bring the eye down quite as much as it did before. If we turn her around to the back, you'll see that just that little bit of shift in length gives it a lot more of a dense feel, which helps to support these layers, we call them internal layers, these layers in the back much better. So there's layers back here. The layers are still long enough to balance, so they're not too short, but they give it a little bit more movement. So now, just so that you've seen that, so we can get a little bit of perspective on that, why don't we style it the way that we should style it? Sound like a plan? Okay, we are back, and Deanna has actually done her hair wavy. Now, I've done a whole tutorial video on how we actually create this look, so if you want to watch that, I'll link all these videos in the description below so you can find access to all of them. But all she did is threw a little bit of Amazon oil. This is actually one of my products. It helps to protect from heat. It actually helps to dry the hair faster. It's kind of crazy. You can actually find that. There's a link below as well. Shameless plug. But, yeah, that's great, right? Okay. But nonetheless, she did this nice and wavy, and adding a little bit of wave, I think adds a little bit of softness, obviously. But also, if you're noticing, it gets a little bit more volume in areas where you want to see some volume versus having all of this just kind of drag down and be flat. With that said, you want to see some curveballs? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so this is the first one. Now, we already actually showed this particular cut or style in a different video. We asked, should she cut her hair? And I got a bunch of comments kind of alluding to the idea that I better not cut her hair, like it was my choice. And it's 100% Deanna's choice. She can cut her hair however she wanted to. She was thinking that maybe someday she would like to go short. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, it was totally my idea. I want that like faux hawk look.
Right?
Just not right now. But
so the question is, and I've already asked this before, so I kind of already know, but what do you think? Do you think, yes, she's got great long hair, but do you think it would look good on her short and be nice? But comment below.
I can take it.
And now, this is the next one. Color shot, yeah, dark color, completely changed. I think it's a cool, different look. It's totally different. What do you think?
No, I really like it. I actually like my hair dark. I actually stick with the blonde because it camouflages the gray a little bit better. Honestly, that's why I stick with blonde.
There you go. And again, her first mistake was marrying a stylist, because guess who never gets their hair done, right? So those are the curveballs, but the question always lies on your shoulders. Guys, what do you think? Oh, I can't wait to hear this one. And just remember, I have nothing to do with any of these decisions. It is 100% her, okay? So I am not saying she has to cut her hair short or do it dark. Just throwing that out there. I can already see those comments coming.
We should do one on hair mistakes that age you faster.
Oh, I'm 120. There's that. So, hey, thanks for hanging out. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Every Tuesday, we got a brand new video. You don't want to actually miss those, do you? No, you don't. I gotta go. Bye.